where you've got companies like Sandy saying, I don't know if you saw in the interviews, they're saying they don't think they should be regulated. You have on the broadcasting side, you've got converged broadcasters and telecom companies. There's a lot going on, and most of the decisions are not straightforward. So we need to come in as an industry and say this is exactly what we want and agree. This is how we're going to treat OTTs or not, knowing that some of our companies are also going to be OTTs in other markets. This is how we deal with issues of net neutrality. All those we need to take into account. Once we have this policy in place, that's what's going to guide all the rules and regulations. So if you don't take advantage of this time to give your input, then it will become very difficult in future to actually make changes. So we are opening it, making sure it's very consultative, and just encouraging you to, as much as possible, give your views. Because if you don't, then you'll have a problem in future. And technology is merging and moving very, very fast. The two main objectives of this roadmap, which is being implemented, is one, to develop a comprehensive national ICT policy 2016 to provide the policy framework for the sustained development of ICT sector for the next 5 years or so, and to use the opportunity to reposition and pronounce the presence, visibility, and importance of the ministry as a leading player in shaping the destiny of the ICT sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the policy development process of the ICT sector policy guidance will be carried out through 3 sectoral working groups. The first group will consider the infrastructure issues, the second group will handle applications and content, and the third, new and emerging issues. The anticipated impact and deliverables for the sectoral working groups, and ultimately the final policy, will be: 1, the infrastructure team is expected to come up with the strategic objectives to enhance ICT impact in the public sector as articulated in the e-government strategic plan, and leading public sector organizations with a view of stimulating the use of e-services in government. The second one is the devices, applications, and contents team. He is expected to develop proposals that will result in: 1, availability and affordability of devices; 2, embrace best practices in incorporating the use of services offered by the Internet of Things; and 3, to develop a revised national ICT sector policy guidelines with the appropriate vision, objectives, outcomes, and other important aspects of the national government policy paper focusing on big data, M2M communications, gaming, and Internet of Things. The overall impact is to articulate policies that will enhance and stimulate the uptake of these services by Kenyans both in urban and in rural areas.
The review of the policy will be headed by a secretariat which will consist of ministry officials and the National Communications Secretariat. We have then proposed the formation of 3 sectoral working groups. I shall leave the CS to talk in details on how the 3 sectoral working groups will work. But ladies and gentlemen, the first sectoral working group will deal with the infrastructure issues. The second sectoral working group will focus on devices, applications, and content. And the third sectoral working group will deal with the new and emerging issues in the sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the sectoral working groups will hold at least 3 initially closed session meetings and at least 3 open working sessions within the time frames. It is expected that this journey will commence from today, 17th March 2016, and will take between 4 to 5 months and conclude on the 30th of June 2016.
Policy and these guidelines, so I'll read my speech and we'll talk about it more. All stakeholders forum to launch the review of the national ICT sector policy guidelines. As you are policy guidelines 2006 largely because of the following 2 reasons. 1,
to know what are some of the major hiccups that have led to ministry feeling like honestly we need a new